Okay, so students, you have requested that I make a video on the preview, so here it is. All right, so we have Polygon Angles. This is going to be on page 55 of your interactive notebook. You will not be able to use the charts. I might put the formulas on the board tomorrow. Okay, so the first three, those are relating to the quadrilateral, and a quadrilateral adds up to 360 degrees. So I don't have a picture for number one, but I can certainly draw one. We have A, B, C, and D. I know A is 49 degrees, B is 107 degrees. It says C is two of the D's. And then of course, my last one's going to be D. Well, they add up to 360. So I'm going to add up 49, 107, the D, and then the 2D, D, and that's equal to 360 degrees. Here's where the algebra needs to kick in. Okay, we combine like terms. I'm going to add these two together, the numbers. Those are alike. And my D's are alike, so I can combine them. So 7 plus 9 is 16. I carry my 1. 4 plus 0 plus 1 is 5. I get 156 for my numbers. D and 2D, that gives me 3 D's. That equals 360. Okay, then I solve for D. So that means from algebra, I need to isolate the D variable. I'm going to get rid of 156 by subtracting. I do the opposite operation. And when I subtract, I have to borrow from 6. That goes to 5. I've got 4, 0, 2. So 3D is equal to 204. Then I'm going to divide by 3 because I still have to isolate D. Now D is equal to 68. That's D. The question asks for C. Well, remember, C is 2 of the D's. So 2 times 68 gives me 136. So C is 136. Okay, I'm going to pause to erase my board. Okay, so as we said, C is going to be 136. Now number 2, I just have a 4-sided figure. I don't have anything else other than that. But I do know that they add up to 360. So I'm going to combine my terms. 4x plus 20, that's one angle, plus 5x plus 30, there's another angle, plus 2x plus 20, there's my third angle, plus 4x minus 10, and that's going to equal, I'm running out of room on my screen, 360 degrees. So just like before, I'm going to combine like terms. This is algebra. I had most of you in algebra, so I know you can do this. Okay, so here are my numbers that I'm underlining in yellow. So I'm going to combine my pink ones. There's 4 plus 5 is 9, plus 2 is 11, plus 4 is 15. So it combines to fix 15x. 20 and 30 is 50. 50 and 20 is 70. And now I'm subtracting 10. That gives me plus 60 equals 360 degrees. Okay, then I'm going to subtract 60 from both sides. 15x is equal to 300. And I'm going to divide by 15. And x is going to equal 20. Okay, so x is equal to 20. I'm going to pause to erase my screen. Okay, number 3. Number 3 is kind of similar to number 2. I have 4 angles. All 4 angles are going to add up to 360. So I can take 4x minus 30 plus x plus 4x minus 30 plus x, and I know that has to add up to 360 degrees because that's how many degrees a quadrilateral adds up to. I'm going to combine like terms. I'm going to add all my x's together and then I'm going to come back and combine all my numbers together. Okay, that's simplifying an expression. So I have I have 4x, 1x is 5, plus 4 is 9, plus another one is 10. So I have 10 x's. My yellow numbers, I have negative 30 and negative 30. That's negative 60. So I have 10x minus 60 is equal to 360. Now I'm going to solve for x. So that means I'm going to add 60. I got to isolate x. So that cancels out, gives me 0. 10x is equal to 420. And I'm going to divide by 10. So my x is equal to 42. X is equal to 42. Okay, I'm going to pause. Okay, number 4, what is the sum of the angles in an octagon? Okay, so we had a chart and we had the formulas. The sum, let's erase that. That's a little too big. Okay, so the sum of the interior angles. That formula was n minus 2 times 180, and n is the number of sides. Each interior angle is n minus 2 times 180, and we have to divide it by n. The sum of the exterior is 360. Doesn't matter what size it is. It's going to be 360. Each exterior is going to be 360 divided by n. These are the formulas that are at the top of the columns of your interactive notebook. And those are the ones that you need to know for the test. So when I have my octagon has 8 sides, and I want the sum. So I'm going to be using n minus 2 times 180. So that's going to be 8 minus 2 times 180. That gives me 6 times 180. 0 times 6 is 0. 6 times 8 is 48. I'm going to carry my 4. 6 times 1 is 6, plus the 4 is 10. So I get the sum of the interior is 1080 degrees. That's the sum of the interior. Number 5, what is the measure of each angle in a hexagon? Hexagon is 6 sides. Equiangular means equal angles. Equal angles. Okay, so each angle means I'm going to be using the n minus 2 again, which is going to be 6 minus 2 times 180. But this time I'm going to divide it by the number of sides, which is 6. So I get 4 times 180 over 6, which is 720, divided by 6. And each interior angle is going to be 120. Okay, now a lot of you in the preview confused interior and exterior. Here's that key word. It says it's in an octagon, in a hexagon. So that means it's interior. Okay, number 6, quadrilateral properties. Okay, so we have a parallelogram, so we need to remember our parallelogram properties. And it tells us that UR is 25, so I'm going to mark my diagram. I highly recommend that. RX is 16. Angle URS, that's this big angle here, is 42.4. And I got to ignore this because this is the question. ST. Okay, well, in parallelograms, our properties say that opposite sides are congruent and parallel. Well, ST is opposite of UR, which means they're congruent. That means ST is going to be 25 as well. Opposite sides are congruent. Okay, they gave me angle URS, but they want angle RST. That's this angle here that I'm marking in blue. So a lot of you on the preview told me 42.4, but 42.4 in a parallelogram are the opposite angles. The opposite angles are congruent. Okay, so my two pink angles are congruent. We also had a property that said if they were consecutive, okay, consecutive meaning this one is next to this one, the two yellow ones, those are consecutive. That means they are next to each other. We had a property that said consecutive angles in a parallelogram were supplementary. That means they add up to 180. So if I want to find RST, then I need to take 180 and subtract 42.4. So I have to add my decimal point in tenths place. Got to borrow from 8. That's going to go down to 7. 0 is going to become 10, but I got to borrow. So that's going to go down to 9, and that 0 is going to become 10. So I get 6. 9 minus 2 is 7. 7 minus 4 is 3. And 1 minus nothing is 1. So RST is going to be 137.6 degrees. Number 8, now we have a rectangle. And our rectangle property says that we have 4 right angles. It also has all of the properties of a parallelogram. And they want me to find BD. That's part of a diagonal. Now, in a parallelogram, the diagonals bisect each other, which means BE and ED would be the same. Well, if ED is 6.5, then that means BE is 6.5, so the entire length would be 13. Okay, you can add 6.5 and 6.5 and get 13, or you can do 6.5 times 2 is 13. Okay, you choose. Number 9, the diagonals of a square intersect at H. Given EH is 5, find the measure of angle GHF. So when you're finding an angle, here's that angle symbol. I start at G, move to F, and end at H. So I'm really talking starting here at G, moving to H, and ending at F. So I'm talking about this angle here. Going back to our square properties. Squares are rhombuses, so every rhombus property applies. Squares are rectangles. Every rectangle property applies. Squares are parallelograms. Every parallelogram property applies. So for this particular problem, what's going to be useful is the rhombus property that says the diagonals are perpendicular. That means all these angles are right angles, and the measure of a right angle is 90 degrees. Okay, probably going to have to end this video here and continue on another one. I'm on a 15-minute limit. Stay tuned.